Hello everyone, this is Anthony Richardson, your network analyst here at the Cedar Hill Independent School District. Thank you so much for taking the opportunity to view this film. This is just really a short tutorial for you as technicians to kind of help with troubleshooting printers. Specifically, this is regarding the HP printers that we have a plethora of here in the district. So this particular document that you're looking at will be made available to you on the G drive. It's troubleshooting HP printers. Just some steps to go through in terms of checking the network settings, as well as verifying whether the IP address on the machine is a manual IP address or a DHCP address. There's some helpful troubleshooting commands that you can use as well for troubleshooting, and we'll go through a couple of these as we work through this particular video. I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to reference it as I'm talking to you. But for any printer that has a web interface, all you have to do is enter the IP address of that printer and then go to that particular page for that printer. And so you may have to go through a couple of security settings depending upon your browser to get you to browse to it, because it's not HTTPS. As you can see, it's even though it is HTTPS, you can't verify the certificate. So you get a certificate error when you try to browse to it, but you can navigate through that using the appropriate clicks and settings on your browser. But once you are to the main page of the printer, you'll see basic information about the printer, color levels for the toner cartridges, and some other information about the fuser and the transfer kits. This may be helpful to you if there's a printer that's offline, you're getting some error codes on the front about fuser errors and things of that nature. Then you would have that information available to you as well to kind of check or whatnot. And then other things about paper tray size, things of that nature. Sometimes printers are set to legal or some other custom size, and users have to always go to the printer and press the button in order to invoke it to print a job that they're printing, trying to print. And heretofore they didn't have to do that. All they had to do was click print, and their document just the printer just spit out their document. But if any of these settings get modified, whether this is done on the interface of the actual printer or done through this web interface, you can always come here and check those settings. It's a great place to kind of look to help you with troubleshooting some other printer issues. To the point at hand, the reason why I brought up this particular film is because you want to be able to know how to go in here and check the network settings on the printer, just to verify some basic information on that particular model of printer. So when most of the HP models that have a web interface have this same or some similar UI or user interface. So what you're going to look for as it relates to checking the network settings is the network tab. And then once you get there to the network tab, it'll show you basically up on the summary, the basic settings is everything is set from IPv6 and IPv4. We don't use IPv6 within the district. So these settings are really negligible, but they're there nonetheless. Network identification. This is really important as it relates to some of the troubleshooting commands. We'll show you a little bit later. If these settings are not set correctly, then it's going to be a little bit tough for you to be able to track down a printer. So for this particular printer, is our tech network printer that's here in the tech office. So I'm going to look on the print server really quick just to get the name, and we're going to make a real live change as it relates to that. And this is specifically for, it's called Admin Tech 4025. So as you see, as you already know, most of the printers are named by the campus or the building code or location, and then the room number or where it's located, and then the model number of the printer. So this is that particular printer. I'm going to name it that, and I'm going to show you why here in just a minute. Probably be helpful if I did it like this first. So if I ping, so one of the commands that I showed you on the sheet is ping-a, which basically is a ping command, and when it pings the address, it's actually going to resolve the host name. Let me correct that, because that should say resolve. The host name for the machine that you're actually printing to. So that way you can see if you're actually reaching the device you intend to reach at that particular IP address. So we know the IP address is, and let's put our -a switch in there. We know the IP address to be 10.10.3.1. So when I hit that and press enter, notice a couple things. it provides the host name for that printer or the name of that particular device that I'm printing along with the IP address. So basically this is just a repeat back to you to say, okay, you're pinging 10.10.3.1 and the name of that device is this. For us in the troubleshooting world, this name is a default name and it's not helpful. So what's helpful is it to actually have the name that the users actually print to, so that when you're pinging this address, you're pinging the intended device that you're looking to reach. Where does it get this name from? It gets this name from this particular host name setting on the printer. So we're going to change that to what it should be, which is what everybody else prints to, which is, again, admin, I think it's tech, admin tech 4025. We're going to change it to that. And I'm going to highlight this real quick just to get the name so I don't have any keystroke errors. I don't have to worry about that. And then we're going to switch back to, where are we at? Here? No, here. Yeah. And we'll change that name. So all you have to do is click in there, highlight, copy and paste the name, or type it. I want to make sure there's no spaces in there. Looks like there was an additional space. And that's that. Once you do that, all you have to do is click apply. These settings take place immediately. Change has been made successfully. Press the OK button to return to configuration. Now it's already changed. Now I should be able to theoretically go back to this setting that I did before, do ping-a, and you can see now the name has resolved to that. Now that's helpful. So if I'm troubleshooting and there's maybe some IP address conflict, users calling in and say, hey, I can't print. Maybe there was a conflict in the IP address. Well, you can ping that IP address to be sure that you're reaching the intended device. And as we did here, we pinged 10.10.3.1 and we're reaching admin tech 4025. That's the device I want to see there. So I know from a network perspective, I do have connectivity to that machine. It's named right. And then I will go further with checking some of the settings on the actual user's workstation. Maybe something has changed there, something that's off. I don't know. We can go a little bit further at that point. So that's network identification for its DNS settings. And then the domain name is always chisd.cwltx.org. And so that's set correctly. And these are the DNS servers here, 10.10.3.31 and 10.10.3.62. I'm sorry, 61 and then 62. These other settings don't really make a difference at this moment. So we'll go to TCP/IP v4 because we don't use version 6, we use version 4. If this is set to DHCP, that's okay. So and typically when you first put a printer online, when you're taking one out of the box, it's going to be set to DHCP and it's going to grab some address out of the DHCP scope. All of our printers will have some address, and that third number will always be a 3 for the most part in every campus, if I'm thinking correctly. This third number will always be a 3. If it's anything other than a 3, then we know it's either a DHCP address or it's an incorrectly configured address, and we need to check into that. Once we do that, once it's set manually, of course, this toggle is set to manual at that point. But if let me back up and say if it is DHCP, then print the configuration page as you normally do, bring it into the network services team, and then we'll make sure that those changes are made accordingly to set it to a manual address that is within the non-distributed DHCP scope for that particular campus. And then there's another video that you can view to show you how to determine if these settings are correct. Because if any of these settings are off, you don't have the right gateway for that IP address and for the network in which this IP address resides, and the subnet mask is not correct, then this information being off will cause that printer not to be able to print as well. So that's basic information as relates to setting up or checking the network settings on a printer. Just some steps and some tools for you to be able to look at before moving to the next phases in troubleshooting. I also want to show you a couple of other things. When we pinged that particular device, notice it did 4 replies and then it ceased. So it says packet sent 4, received 4, lost none, 0% loss, and it talks about average trip time and some other information that's in there. the other commands that I showed you that are in this document as well, ping T is a continuous ping. So let's say you're setting up a printer and it's a DHCP now, and you've got a manual address that you've verified that is available for that particular address, for that particular machine. And how you verify if it's available is if you ping it and nothing replies from that address, then you know that address is available. There's a document that's on the G drive as well called the manual IP address. It's a spreadsheet up under the Infosys folder. And that folder and that particular spreadsheet has all the available IP addresses for each particular campus. And so any of those addresses, spaces that you see on that sheet that are highlighted in yellow, those addresses are available. But what you want to do is ping an address from that sheet first, just to be sure that it's available before putting it and using it on a network device that we're needing to set a static address for. But I generally use the ping-t command, especially in a scenario like that where I'm wanting to set a manual address on a device, just to verify connectivity. And ultimately what happens is when you do ping-t, it will continuously, versus stopping at 4, it will just continue to ping and ping and ping until you actually tell it to stop. And this is very useful just to verify if the address that you're putting on a machine actually has been accepted. The machine is up and running at that new address. What you'll get is a denied address first, and then once it starts pinging, you'll get these reply addresses. Maybe I'll do another video another time, just showing a setup from start to finish of a particular printer, so you can kind of see how that happens in real time. And in order to stop this, all you have to do is hold down the control key and then press the letter C like Charlie on your keyboard, and it'll break that, and then you can come out of it, type exit to leave the command prompt screen. So just a few things to kind of help you there. And then also I'm going to show you one other thing for NS lookup. This is kind of the reverse way of pinging. So I showed you ping-a. Well, NS lookup basically gives you the IP address of a particular named machine as it relates to what this domain controller sees that as. Remember, you put the DNS server in there. It's 10.10.361. So if I do admin or ADM TECH, I think it's 4025, and press enter, that didn't come up right. So why didn't it come up right? Let's see, admin tech, I think that's right. I should have that correct. So I'm doing this video real time. I didn't want it to be anything off. So admin tech 4025 is correct. I didn't want to do it scripted per se or fully scripted. There are some scripts in it, but that is not showing the way I want it to do. Let me see, 10.10.3.1. If I do it like that, it's not actually showing that it can actually find that. So that's not supposed to happen, because actually what happens if you put in an address for that machine. Let's try something else just so we can kind of see what we get. Let's do admin HR200 and see what we get. ADM HR200, and it's saying it can't find that one either. So non-existent domain. Did I not type? Do I need to type? I don't think I need to type that in there. Okay, so I'm obviously doing something wrong, but nonetheless, this can be used to be able to verify if a particular device does have the correct name. It's an NS lookup or name server lookup for a particular device. Let's see if I can do this one real quick on my machine. You can do this for anything that you have. So A-Rich, I'm going to see, A-Rich ISD is the name of my machine. I'm going to do it real quick on here, A-R-I-C-H ISD, and this is what you're supposed to receive when you put in a particular name of a machine. The domain, that the DNS server that actually has it will reply back, and it'll give you the IP address of that particular machine and its name. So that's how that's supposed to work. So sorry for the issue there, but nonetheless, we got an example of how it should work. So if you have any other questions, be sure to see a member of your network services team, and we'll be glad to help out. Thanks so much for viewing the film.